My gain was super high yesterday, so hope I won't blast your ears off today. Anyway, nice to be back streaming again. We got 11 days left before the main event in Berlin. So first event modeling open spaces. I hope that you will join us there. I have the links here. I guess I'll put them in the show notes at the end of this stream. I haven't been updating them with links to what I've been talking about, but I'll add those. I'll edit those on YouTube at least. But again, if you're watching this on YouTube by accident and you generally watch things on Twitch, this is also on Twitch. If you stumbled on this by clicking on something in LinkedIn or Twitter, you can find this on YouTube or Twitch, depending on what you watch. I think a lot of people were asking for this to be on YouTube because that's their TV is set up for it. This is streaming to YouTube as well, so catch this wherever you like. There should be some ways to just search for event modeling and get all that. So let me turn off my notifications here so we don't get interrupted and we can get going. Today again, we're talking about the workshop, which is going to cover our event modeling. We are going to continue our open spaces project. So yesterday I merged that pull request from Manuel Ortega, I believe, and that I haven't tested yet, so we can just run the solution and see if we can actually get some things working in this software, and then we'll revisit the event model also to make sure that it's complete, so that it's specifying everything. And yeah. Anyway, let's take a look again where we got to. I will move these around. So again, this is the event here. I believe this is the proof board. Event modeling open space link is right here. And yeah, anyway, this is it. So take a look. A lot of things to cover. Now, just 1 second here. Uno momento. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. So where do we get to? Oh yeah. This is the address in Berlin where this is all going to take place. Free tickets. Of course, the 6th is the paid workshop if you want to send your company over. Hey, Dev, nice to see you. 1 second again. All right, we're back. So hopefully no more interruptions. All right, so one of the important reasons to go is all the work that Alexander has done on event modeling on the proof board, which is, gives you way more capabilities than the default used by most, such as Miro. So it'd be really good to have him at your disposal for questions and things like that. Let me see where we got to now. So let's put that away. We'll revisit this. So remember these dates here, June 6th and 7th. June 6th is the paid workshop. The 7th is the free open spaces. And yeah, that's it. So enough about that. Let's get going. Good to see you, Dev. It's been a while. So if you want to chat, put in questions in any of these forums on LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Go ahead and interact, and I'll try to answer your questions. So let's see if this works. Okay, yeah. So this is where we got to yesterday. We have this pull request for this. I'm going to just make this slice highlight be as tall as the rest. I'm not sure why it's like this. Maybe it just got dragged down here. Or I think I had everything else further down, but when I merged this in, it was different. So let's just correct that. Drag this out a bit. Okay, so that's the slice that we can see Manuel has done. And these are the slices that I have done. And so should be able to run this. And if we take a look at the code, that's our event store with all our events, but we should be able to get this other event in there now. And if we run this application, so let's give it a go. And then I do believe that we had this running in the same space as here, I believe. So let's move this to the side. And date setting, right. So as far as we know, the new pull request added a submit topic URL. Okay. Google. Topic. Oh, perfect. Okay, so let's try generating EMs from meeting recordings. Facilitation suggest Oh, that's me. I forgot. So that's the topic, and that's by me. And the facilitation, I'm gonna just say suggestion looking for experts. Or just others. So some that might have experience, some that might be experts. We also might just have this as a facilitation. Let's just say it's a fishbowl type of discussion. If people have seen that in an open space, it's really where you put chairs in the front and slowly reduce the chairs so that there's fewer people near the end. But if someone wants to talk, they have to get up to and take one of the spare chairs up on the stage, and the person that was there the longest returns to the audience and empties out another chair. And then if anyone else wants to talk, the same thing happens. So you have a good flow of different people through the discussion. So that's the kind of the fishbowl type of discussion. So let's submit that. And now it says submitted successful, but I have no links. I can't continue. So this is where looking at the other slice will make sense, because if we look at the drawing, it kind of implies that we should be looking at all of the topics that are suggested, and we have to add another one. So I think I'll do that. I'll add that as another. I have progress here. So I'll copy this slice marker. So this is our progress marker. I'll put that here. I'll say atom in progress. I know it's tiny. In progress. I can barely read it. So there's atom in progress, and this is Manuel. It's done. This is in progress. So I also want to change the background of this to be something like yellow. That's an ugly color. This yellow. Okay, that's a little better. That kind of stands out as in progress. Okay, so we can kind of see that it's got some gradient. Oh well, anyway. So if there was others working at the same time on different pieces, you would notice that they are oops, I didn't want to do that. Select this first. Now I can make it smaller. Good. So if someone else was working on some other slices, I could see them as being in progress. So yeah, let's just double check that we can turn off the progress. So you can play around with these layers in Draw.io. That's what I'm using. This is the Draw.io plugin for Visual Studio Code. Again, why I'm using VS Code is because of the AI plugin, not plugin, sorry. It's actually not VS Code. It's a fork of VS Code called Cursor AI, which has much better AI integration than anything else I've seen. Again, the slice approach allows you to have very additive only changes to your code. Notice it's mostly just pluses. The only negatives here in the patch were this drawing update. So, and that's probably due to reformatting, and you really don't have control over what Draw.io does in terms of the XML that it uses to store this. So if you're talking about code, it's really additive only, which is very positive. It kind of shows you open close principle, that you're really just extending and extending the solution without rewriting a lot. Now, we're going pretty fast here. We're probably going to have a few minuses because we're not really even settled on the infrastructure code over here. It's very simple right now. We have no materialized views and other things like that. So let's get to that. And just back to this definition of slices. So the idea of a slice is not new. It's basically a different way of saying a full stack development effort, so that you're not tracking work across different capabilities, such as a UI effort versus an API effort versus a database effort. A vertical slice is really about making sure that the progress of your application goes one step forward on the timeline. But where it's unique to event modeling is that there's opinions that these slices should either be focused on state changes. So if you're thinking about in terms of systems via systems thinking, you would have you would basically talk about any information entering the system via blue box, and then any information you're projecting out of the state via green box. So these are the only two patterns for the slices in event modeling, and that allows you to really have a good cadence for elaborating that. When people take some shortcuts, as we'll see in a second, and make a command affect a UI, or they make an event trigger a command, so these arrows go the wrong way. Sorry, the arrows are not very clear here because of the color choice. I'm just going to make them a little bit darker. so that you can see them. So this path here for the information is quite important in event modeling, because this forcing this convention really makes you pay attention to the size of, or the complexity of what you're doing. It forces you to add intermediate views of information, really elaborate processes, even if they're behind the scenes. We don't have any behind the scenes stuff here in terms of like automation, which we use with gears. We'll get into that in a bit, I think. I think actually this does encapsulate this. Let's just add that. That is actually correct, because now this whole beginning part is finished. And then we're working on this middle one here for the participant. So again, just the background of this application. If you haven't seen the other ones, it's an open space organization tool where you can organize open spaces event, add a date range, so you can have, you know, a 2-day event, a 1-day event, a 3-day event, whatever you like. And participants suggest some topics. So I think we had this submitted successfully. So we did this part here, which Manuel finished. Oh, there's a VS Code Draw IO plugin. Yes, there is, Dev. Yes, there's also an Excalidraw one, which actually has a bug in it. I was trying to get it to work the other day. I just have to see why it's not working, but there is one for Excalidraw as well. I kind of want to use Excalidraw because it has better collaboration facility, I believe, when you're trying to do this collaboratively. This is really, Draw.io is good enough if you're just doing this by yourself, but a lot of the benefits of event modeling is actually collaborating together. So unless Draw.io has a collaboration feature where you can have multiple people updating the same drawing, then that would be good, but I'm not sure yet. TL Draw are great for collab. Yeah, I understand. I haven't tried TL Draw. I might have actually tried TL Draw, I think. I just haven't used it, if I have, very often, but we certainly could try. If anyone wants to pipe into chat if they were able to find this, what's it called? This Draw.io format, if it has some facilitation for collaboration, that would be great, because we could do that. Although, you know, open source work is sometimes it's a lot of individual effort. There's not a lot of collaboration going on. It's people with their spare time saying, I'll add this feature or whatever. Again, the effort, the reason I'm doing this. Oh, nice. Eraser. Yeah, I saw, I was looking at Eraser as well. There's a lot of different tools out there now, but anyway, fun to look at all these things, and hopefully we'll get something that's healthy for open source, because I know Miro and all these others, they really want to vendor lock you, etc. So, you know, if we have a good option for something that's, you know, I really want these to replace the readmes. So if I go to a repo from an open source project, I want to see something like this that walks me through the solution, shows me what data is flowing through, and then acts as a map, right? So for example, I think in GitHub you can have like point to a specific line. So you could probably drop a link into here to, you know, wherever that is in your repo, and maybe use a relative link, so that even if this doesn't exist, you know, in GitHub, you have your own hosting, or it's GitLab or something else, then those links should work by whatever's presenting this to the end user, or if it's rendered in some way. But the idea is you have this source of truth, which is the Git history. So it's not just for source code, but really about the map of the solution, which is this. So again, thanks to Manuel Ortega for doing this. And let's see if it actually wrote in our event. So at the bottom we should see, let's move the chat down a little bit. So this is, oh yeah, 26th. So, oh, there it is. So our event exists here. which is great. So we have this event. So I think this is a successful slice now. We did store that event. Again, event sourcing is about capturing data, all data, not really throwing anything away. And now we have, we can work on showing these. So let's start this slice. First of all, I want to get the text, making it black here so we can see it. Oops. Try again. Black. There it is. Okay, so that's a little more consistent. And the other thing they want to try is obviously start to do these slices as separate branches and get our proper branching strategy in here. A lot of times that's easier to do once you've done all the infrastructure, but we're kind of playing around with the infrastructure for now. So we may revisit when we introduce the proper branching strategy. So let's for the current schedule, this here will probably be later because I think we need a few screens here, a few slices here for actually arranging the suggested topics, right? And the other parts that we're missing on this event model is, you know, how do we invite people to this? So how do the participants actually get to this screen? And I think part of the administration will be something like token issues, that they show a QR code at the event so that we don't get you know, people that are not at the event clogging it up with silly suggestions and things like that. So, you know, a little bit of security, not a lot, but just enough so that it's you know, good actors are going to be able to do their thing, and it's going to be a little bit more resilient to random people finding this on the internet, the links on the internet, and causing trouble unnecessarily. And of course, a time window, because the suggestion period is usually, you know, like 15 minutes or something like that at the beginning of an open spaces, and then they, you know, there's another 15 minutes or whatever for arranging them into a schedule that we have here, and then we go ahead and then run the open spaces according to the schedule that we made together. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense as to what we're trying to do here. But again, about the format of these slices, it's actually quite important because I see people kind of doing this their own way. This is an example that was on LinkedIn earlier. And I just want to show you that, okay, this is good because the green is a projection of state that shows some information. This is some auction thing. And then something's happening where the start of delivery is happening, and it's changing the state here by storing an event. And then now that the delivery has started, there's delivery progress, which is a screen that the seller sees, and that's correct. And then handover to delivery service, that's a form, that is correct, that's being done. But here's the first issue, right? We have this idea that, you know, this command is actually going up. Commands are actually only changing state. It's an intention to change the state of something. A command doesn't actually do anything to a UI. It doesn't, you know, and so the only way that you actually do have, you know, the change of state is sorry, the visualization, and sorry, the way that you show something on a screen is via projection, which is this, you know, this is correct here, this is correct here, that's correct here, this is correct here, this is correct here. But we have an issue with this going straight to that, and we also have an issue here where we have IUI receiving, let's draw a better circle, where we have that, that's even worse. Where we have this, let's just forget it. So anyway, we see an issue with the flow of information. So slices that have a blue box are supposed to change the state of a system, right? UIs get an update only through projection of state, which are green boxes. And this is the system's thinking of basically getting information, seeing what's happening at the border of your system, like at the edge of your system. Is information flowing in to change the state, or is information being projected out to deliver information and inform someone? So it's quite interesting. The other thing that's kind of missing from this example is some automation, which I think in these delivery things may be done automatically by the system, and that's the use of gears. And if you're wondering, like, well, how does if you're talking about the system boundary, how do you show that something exits your system to go externally? Well, the systems are actually down here in these swim lanes. So exiting one system and going into another is facilitated still by this information flowing out and then back in. And if it's something automatic, instead of UIs doing this, you have gears, which are automated processes that sit on one or both of the one or the other or both of the subsystems here. So that's how it's shown. And you can go back to the original event modeling article to kind of see the first thoughts about that. And then, yeah, the current way of doing this is really about making sure that everything follows this pattern of showing information. Again, this is, I believe, a really cool little shorthand, meaning that someone doesn't want to show all the past events that led to the population of this. It's a shorthand saying like, yeah, lots of stuff happened, but over here we're starting at this point in the workflow that we already have orders to deliver, and we put them here. So that's good. Let's see if there's anyone on Discord that wants to discuss this. Nope, there's no one on Discord. That's great. Good. So we can get through this. I just wanted to touch up on this, and if you do see these in your previous stream, you discussed your Git branching strategy. Why not just use feature branching? Is there no if there is no dry in each slice, isn't it, and then just pushing? Yes and no. There is still some things that you want to share. So so on the previous stream, we're talking about I wonder if that's still up on our diagram here somewhere, because I could probably just look at it on there. Ah, yes, here it is. So yeah, this is kind of how we do things. So each feature or each slice is here. We still want these to be portable, like what you're talking about. If I use regular branch per feature without a common starting point, which is this, for each individual feature. So, I mean, you could have someone else's feature, right? If I copy this, actually, let's just copy the whole thing. And just move this over here. So if we have a branch for each slice, yeah, exactly. I mean, feature, slice, whatever. A lot of times I think people would call a collection of slices a feature, right? This is a good way to include or exclude things as well. So it's about having composability. So there's a lot to be gained by having the same start. I think you can, yes, you're correct. Everything's highly separated when you're doing proper event sourcing and event modeling, which is a good advantage to have. But this composability of, someone else's feature, like this composability is highly advantageous, because if someone if let's say your feature you want to exclude, I can quickly make an RC by just merging the ones that I want. And if I have if I have a situation where this may be including some related work, either directly or indirectly from something else, then I lose the composability, which is a problem, because I'm dragging in the work that was here, and I don't want to trust things that aren't finished. So this is a clean start where I know no other feature is has been implemented or partially implemented. And if you start to go down that route, then you're getting into feature toggles and just adding a lot more complexity to your process. So, you really want this, cleanliness, like with anything. I mean, we already see that slices and planning and organizing give you a lot of advantages to development by having, this sort of safety area where you can be quite have a lot of autonomy to fulfill what value you're going to bring to the entire workflow, right? And likewise here, in terms of tracking effort history, you're kind of working on a squeaky clean way of working, right? There's no advantage or disadvantage of linking this to any of the others. Well, there's no extra advantage, no extra shortcut, and and if you find that you need something that someone else has done, you cherry pick that, because that's going to be still giving you the same capability, but it's going to keep this whole structure as a composable set of things that you can control within source control itself. You don't have to go and code. So this is like tech agnostic. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to sprinkle the if statements for feature toggles or other things like that. Especially if you're doing polyglot, you might have a mix of languages to turn something off or on, and that's where you start to get into trouble, because now you need to coordinate people that are good in each language, each tech stack. So here, when you're keeping this separate, you forego needing to do any code in the actual solution to separate things. Now, you still will have configurations and things, but that's something else. Those are not feature toggles. Those are configurations. Feature toggles are a way to circumvent limitations of your source control, because you want to have one single line for your history. And so now you've pushed the same problem to a different area, an area where you have to deal with programming to isolate things, where here you can literally say that this code exists or it does not exist in production or whatever environment you have. So that's why. So each slice is independent of pushing each completed slice to main branch should be okay. It should be okay, but again, in terms of keeping your solution clean and composable, like especially if you change your mind and you don't want this feature released yet, maybe there's there are some extra requirements that are captured, whatever the reason, you simply don't want to be hamstrung by having extra work if some of these things are linked with other people's work already in it. So I think what's really overlooked in Git branching strategies is this common starting point, because this will work even if you don't do slices. This will still give you a lot more control over your solution, even if you don't have the by the slice and you're not doing open close principle, and you're doing anti-dry stuff or not. This will give you way more facility to organize your solution. So again, quite an important use of things, and we call this a start tag. So I'm just gonna put that on the label here. Text. I think it's T. Yeah. Okay. So, oops, that's bizarre. Okay, it's very weird here how the shortcuts don't really work in Excalidraw somehow. I have to double check why. So start tag. So we always have the start tag so that anyone that's working on a new slice, they know to look for the latest start tag and start the slice from there. And